Since I released my Honda CB500X 1000 mile review, which you should check out if you haven't, I've gotten the same question about 2 billion times. How does this bike compare to the Kawasaki KLR 650? Let's talk about the differences and similarities between these two beginner-friendly entry-level bikes that can last you a lifetime. Admittedly, it's been a year since I sold my KLR 650, so I apologize if my recollection is fuzzy at all and I maybe don't remember every single detail about that particular bike, but I have owned both the KLR 650 and a Honda CB500X, and so I guess that makes me qualified to talk about the differences between them, or at least many of you are interested in hearing my opinion, so here we go, let's jump right in. Let's just start with stats. The Honda CB500X has a 471cc fuel-injected twin, 6-speed transmission, 46.9 horsepower. It's got a 32.8-inch seat height, 19-inch front wheel, 17-inch rear wheel, 7.1 inches of ground clearance, 5.9 inches of front suspension travel, 5.3 inches of rear suspension travel, 439 pounds wet. It has a 4.7-gallon fuel tank and an MSRP of $7,300. We're comparing 2023 models here. Those aren't all the stats, but those are the ones that I feel like are relevant to this comparison. On the other hand, the Kawasaki KLR 650 has a 652cc fuel-injected single-cylinder engine. It has a 5-speed transmission, 40 horsepower. It has a 34.3-inch seat height. That is the standard model, but you can now get the KLR 650S, and that has a 32.1-inch seat height. The KLR has a 21-inch front wheel, a 17-inch rear wheel, 8.3 inches of ground clearance, 7.9 inches of front suspension travel, 8 inches of rear suspension travel. It weighs 456 pounds wet, has a 6.1-gallon tank, and retails for $6,900. Now, what do both of these bikes do well? They have a lot in common. They are both easy-to-ride motorcycles with a very forgiving power delivery. They're beginner-friendly motorcycles, but capable of being your forever bike. They're the kind of motorcycle you can buy. It's not going to get you in trouble as a beginner, but you can ride forever till the end of time across the country and back. It's been done a bazillion times on these motorcycles. They both have what I would call manageable seat heights for a dual sport or an adventure bike. More so the S on the KLR, but even the standard model seat height is not insurmountable. It's not a crazy 38, 39-inch seat height. Both bikes are capable of highway speeds and at least some off-roading. They both do both things. They're both bulletproof, reliable. I've seen them beat the hell out of those 500Xs in Baja, and on the other side of the coin, those KLRs are basically the cockroach of motorcycles. Are all the KLRs ever made still running? I feel like they are. You can beat the hell out of those bikes and they can take it. They just take a licking and keep on ticking. They're both proven platforms. They've been around for a while. The KLR itself has been around for decades, and the CB500X engine is the same one that's in the 500F and the CBR 500R, so it's an engine that's been around. It's in the Rebel 500s now. It's proven it's reliable, great engine. They're both inexpensive bikes, not just in terms of MSRP, which is low for a motorcycle, but also in terms of maintenance. They don't need maintenance very often. It's probably yearly or twice yearly oil changes for most people. Minimal maintenance otherwise. You're not going to have breakdown issues. You're not going to have repair bills. They're just inexpensive bikes to buy and own. And what maintenance there is minimal and easy. Oil changes are easy and, like I said, infrequent. They're both versatile machines that can do whatever you want to do. So if you want to ride across the country on the highway, you can. If you want to throw a bunch of motor camping gear on there and go up into the backcountry, you can. They're both very versatile machines that can do almost anything you would want to do on a motorcycle, just like not as well as a purpose-built bike. That's pretty obvious. So that's what they do well. What do they both suck at? Well, they both have weird tire sizes. So the 1917 combo on the 500X is perhaps slightly worse than the 2117 combo on the KLR 650, but that 17-inch rear wheel, you just don't have as many tire options as you would on a traditional 2119, particularly if you're looking at off-road tires. That's not to say you can't get tires for them. There's just less choices, less variety. They both suck at going fast. The 500X can cruise on the highway at 70, 75, but you're not going to want to cruise at 80 miles an hour, and likewise the KLR can get you out there. You can handle freeway speeds, but you're not going to want to do it for very long, and you're not going to be doing 90 or 100 miles an hour. So if you bought a dual sport or adventure bike to do that, you're in the wrong category anyway. I don't know why you did that, but they're definitely not great at going super fast. Neither has a fantastic off-road suspension. Neither is a stump jumping hard enduro machine. These are light duty bikes that'll get you through some tough stuff. So if you come across a washout or something, or a log you have to get over or around, you can probably do that, but it's not the kind of thing you want to do all day on either bike. One is a little more off-road capable than the other based on the stats. You probably saw that already. We'll get into that, but neither one of them is an all-day hard enduro hitting the toughest stuff you can find kind of motorcycle. They just aren't. So that's what they have in common. Let's talk about differences. First up, the 500X. What does it do better than the KLR? Well, it's a hell of a lot smoother. I'll tell you that. A twin versus a single-cylinder engine, you're getting a lot less vibration, you're getting a lot smoother ride. On the highway, the KLR feels like you're riding a dryer. There's no two ways about it. Even with all the rubber dampening on the new model, even with the weighted bar ends, you're still getting a lot of vibration and you will notice a difference. 500X is just a smoother bike across the board. You get more power out of a smaller engine on the 500X. It's better on the road and at highway speeds despite that smaller engine. Big part of that is it has a 6th gear and the KLR doesn't. So when you get up to freeway speeds, you can pop it up into 6th gear and cruise in a way that you just can't on the KLR. You just have to endure more vibration. And overall, the 500X is just a more modern feeling bike. It's a newer platform, it's a newer design, and they did refresh the KLR in 22. I know some of you are going to be coming in and like, they changed the KLR. That's the one I had, okay? Adding a Casio watch style digital dash and fuel injection does not make it a modern bike. It's still the old bike with some lipstick slapped on it. It's still lipstick on a pig. It is an old design. It feels like it. It feels like a time capsule from motorcycle design theories or schools of thought of previous decades. The 500X feels like a bike that was designed in the 21st century, and if you just look at them side by side, ride them side by side, you'll see what I mean. Now, old doesn't necessarily mean bad. Classic is a word that you might use to describe the KLR, but that is a big difference between them. So what does the KLR do better? Well, a lot of things. It's better set up for harder off-road. It's got more ground clearance. It's got better suspension travel. It's got the bigger front tire. It's got spoked wheels. All of these make it better off-road, make it better set up. It was designed to go off-road. It's a dual sport. The 500X is an adventure bike. Some might even say a street bike with adventure styling, more of a touring bike. The KLR is a dual sport. It's a single-cylinder thumper, one of the classics, and that makes it more capable off-road because it's set up to be. The KLR is unstallable. It will lug for days. The thing has so much down-low power, I swear you can idle straight up the side of a tree if you have to. It chugs, it chugs, it chugs. It has that super reliable down-low, confidence-inspiring, that's like the best way I can describe what it feels like to ride it at low RPMs, but that thing, you just can't kill it. It'll chug all day. Great low-end power. There's a better aftermarket for the KLR, particularly if you're looking for off-road stuff. The CB500X, it exists. People are always like, but Rally Raid. I know, it exists, but they're about the only company making like serious off-road kits for that bike. Obviously, you can get crash bars and tires, but the KLR, you can get everything under the sun, up to and including the internal mods like the doohickey and the thermobob and all of that. Like all those problems have been addressed and solved, and there's a solution for every one of them, which leads me to my next advantage of the KLR, and that is bigger community. It's been around longer. More people have experience with it, there's more institutional knowledge to tap into, and more people ride that KLR off-road. So if you want mods recommendations, if you want advice on how to ride it off-road, if you want to look at other people's setups, there's just a lot more KLRs out there off-road than there are 500Xs. Just the nature of the beast. The other big advantage of the KLR is that there's a lot more cheaper ones out there because it's been around a lot longer. There's a floor on prices of the 500X from what I can tell, about $4,500, $5,000 American. You don't really see them cheaper than that, but there are cheap old KLRs out there. Now, anything before 2022 is not fuel injected, it's carbureted, but if you just want to get a cockroach reliable dual sport motorcycle with a great community for cheap, you got $2,500 to spend, I bet you can find a KLR. Not gonna happen with the 500X. So what's the final conclusion? What's the bottom line? Dork, I don't want to listen to all this, just tell me which one to buy. Okay, well, I almost never do that, but here is the conclusion, and it's gonna seem super obvious to you if you listen to anything I just said. The 500X is better on the road, and the KLR is better off-road, but the difference is not as big as you think it is, or as it needs to be for you to make a hard and fast, clear decision based on that fact alone. The KLR is better off-road, but still too heavy and floaty for serious stuff. The 500X is more of a street bike, but can still take on gravel roads and beyond. Conversely, the 500X is smoother and easier to ride for long periods of time, but the KLR will do 75 and beyond. I proved it in a video. Check out that freeway test video. You're just gonna arrive at your destination with numb hands on the KLR. They're both great bikes for new riders and beyond. Both inexpensive and readily available, both easy to work on, and both of them will last you forever. My advice is, as it often is go ride both and see which one feels right to you, which one feels better. If that's too indefinite for you, then go with this guideline. If you're gonna spend more than 50% of the time on the road, get the 500X. If you're gonna spend more than 50% of your time off-road, get the KLR 650. And I mean, even if it's 51, 49, that's how you make your decision. And if you don't want something that hard and fast, or you're still not sure, just buy the one you can get the best deal on. You are gonna be happy either way. And even if you aren't, you can probably just sell it for what you paid and get the other one if you really feel like you need to make that decision. But they're both great bikes. You can't go wrong either way. You're gonna be happy. They're gonna last you a long time. They're fun and easy to ride. They're hard to beat, and they're a great value. So that's my take on the 500X versus the KLR 650, the classic dinosaur, venerable, prototypical dual sport versus the newer kid on the block, street bike inspired upstart that can do a lot of things that the wily veteran can do. What do you think? Leave your take in the comments. Which is better, the KLR 650 or the Honda CB500X? Have you owned both, one or the other? Let us know in the comments. Let's talk about it. Just don't be a dick. If you want to see more dual sport, adventure, motorcycle content, motorcycle camping stuff, other shenanigans, please consider subscribing to the channel because I'm the dork on the road and I want to be your internet riding buddy, and I'm better than your regular riding buddies because I come with a mute button. Thank you for watching, and please do not forget to be excellent to each other. Thank you.
Excellent!
Why are you still here? The video's over. Get the KLR. No, the 500X. You figure it out.